When Donald Trump took office, the media lost its collective mind. Hollywood and other industries would also face the same fate. But then Trump Derangement Syndrome moved into the state houses, infecting governors from across the nation. Gavin Newsom was supposed to be California's fresh face. Instead, he developed a full-blown case of TDS. Before he took office, Newsom was already running against what he called corruption and incompetence in the White House. Then he got sworn in and went straight to war. Just 1 month into his time as governor, Newsom gave his first State of the State speech. And while talking about crime in California, he still found a way to take a shot at Trump's border wall.
The wall that stretches thousands and thousands of miles through wilderness will do nothing to stop this threat. So the answer to the White House, with all due respect, no more division, no more xenophobia, no more nativism. We suffered enough of that in the 1990s with Proposition 187 and Proposition 227.
And that was only the beginning. For years, Newsom turned fighting Trump into the face of his brand. By 2025, the showmanship became pure confrontation. When President Trump federalized the National Guard and Marines to restore order to Los Angeles, Newsom went on MSNBC and dared the administration to arrest him.
Come after me, arrest me, let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know? I don't give a damn.
Over time, Newsom found a new way to fight Trump. He turned his official press office into basically a meme account, posting AI images of Trump as Emperor Palpatine and ranting in all caps. Come January 2026, with 2028 rumors heating up, Newsom took his anti-Trump act global. He went to the World Economic Forum in Davos, stood in front of the international elite, and used the stage to bash the President of the United States in front of the world.
Destruction is not strength. The Trump administration is weakness masquerading as strength. And people need to understand that. And I think we need to stand up in America and call this out with clarity. We can lose our republic as we know it. Our country can become unrecognizable in a matter of months, just not years. It is code red, blinking red, in the United States of America.
Come June, Newsom went on national television and used his acting skills to obtain sympathy from the public. He claimed the Trump administration was investigating his family and their nonprofit. This is the same guy who was literally daring Trump to arrest him.
Federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president.
In the end, Gavin Newsom will almost certainly try to turn all of this into a 2028 presidential run. Inside the Democratic Party, the Trump bashing only raised his profile. Every lawsuit, every cable news hit, every meltdown post, it helped turn him into a national figure. But let's be honest, without Donald Trump, Gavin Newsom might not have even survived California politics. His own people tried to recall him. So Trump didn't just give Newsom an enemy, he gave him a career. J.B. Pritzker was born into billions, but somehow Donald Trump still managed to live rent-free inside of his head. Pritzker is an heir to the Hyatt fortune. You would think a man that rich would have better things to do than obsess over another rich guy. And if there's one thing about J.B. Pritzker, he loves using buzzwords such as
racist, misogynist, homophobic, xenophobic.
JB also loves going on late-night TV, which have turned into nightly anti-Trump therapy sessions. On one appearance on Jimmy Kimmel in 2025, he said,
I think everybody understands that at this point, we've got an authoritarian in office. He's essentially tearing apart the things that really matter to working families across the United States.
And that was only the beginning. That same year, the billionaire resistance governor had taken his act on the road. He traveled to New Hampshire and told Democrats he was about to say something he had never said before.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption. But I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace.
He later clarified that he was talking about megaphones and microphones, not violence. But the message was pretty clear. Pritzker was no longer just attacking Trump, he was trying to become the face of the movement against him. 2025 would also bring the Nazi comparisons. During a State of the State address, Pritzker warned about how fast authoritarian regimes can rise. He said,
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic. And all I'm saying is that when the 5-alarm fire starts to burn, every good person better be ready to man a post with a bucket of water if you want to stop it from raging out of control.
Of course, after the backlash, Pritzker insisted he was not calling Trump Hitler. When a reporter asked Pritzker, how is this not an insult to half the American public who voted for Trump when you're talking about Trump being a Nazi? Pritzker immediately shot back that those words never came out of my mouth. That is not true. By fall, JB was doing the whole tough guy routine. When Donald Trump started sending ICE agents and military to Chicago, JB Pritzker threatened to stand in the way of operations. And Pritzker did what Pritzker does best. He ran to the mainstream media, but this time daring Trump to come and get him.
There's one thing I really want to say to Donald Trump. If you come for my people, you come through me. So come and get me.
Sound familiar?
Come after me, arrest me, let's just get it over with.
Looks like JB took a page out of Newsom's playbook. It was like every Democrat governor wanted their own resistance movie trailer. Then Pritzker hit the usual Democrat talking point. He started talking about Trump's mental fitness and saying that
I think the 25th Amendment needs to be seriously considered and invoked. We've seen it day in and day out. We've now seen him as president the second time around. I don't know whether it's age, there's some kind of dementia going on, but clearly something is wrong with the man, and the people closest to him should know that.
And that's the story of JB Pritzker's Trump Derangement Syndrome, a billionaire who masquerades as the moral high ground while using Trump to build his own national profile. Maybe it gets him closer to 2028, maybe it doesn't. Only time will tell if Pritzker actually stands a chance on the national stage. But one thing is for sure, the next governor definitely does not. Kathy Hochul was never supposed to be the face of New York. She took over after Andrew Cuomo's career imploded and suddenly found herself running one of the most powerful states in the country. But instead of fixing New York, Hochul found her favorite enemy, Donald Trump. And by 2024, she was using the Democratic National Convention to trash the former New Yorker in front of the entire country.
Donald Trump was born a New Yorker, but ended up a fraud, a philanderer, and a felon. He wasn't raised with the New York values that I know.
And that was only the beginning, because with Kathy Hochul, every Trump fight turns into a dramatic Broadway monologue. When Trump posted, "Congestion pricing is dead, long live the king," Hochul completely lost it. She marched into a press conference, invoked Alexander Hamilton, and declared that New York has not labored under a king in over 250 years.
At 1:58 p.m., President Donald Trump tweeted, "Long live the king." I'm here to say New York hasn't labored under a king in over 250 years.
Sounds heroic, right? Except here's what she was actually fighting for: congestion pricing, a traffic tax. So while Hochul was acting like she was leading the American Revolution, she was really suing the Trump administration to keep charging drivers more money to enter Manhattan. Kathy Hochul says she's fighting a king, but somehow the fight always ends up with New Yorkers paying more. And the Trump obsession did not stop there. Hochul joined lawsuits against Trump's tariffs. She refused to share DMV data with immigration officials. Then in 2026, she launched the Local Cops Local Crimes Act, accusing federal agents of committing unspeakable acts of violence and promising that using local police for immigration enforcement would not stand in New York.
So they have what they need. So don't buy in the argument, we have to be there because ICE needs the help. They do their job, although I don't like the way they're doing their job, but don't expect our local law enforcement to team up with them.
Then came one of the most Kathy Hochul moments imaginable. She went on MSNBC and bragged about personally confronting an ICE agent at the federal building in Manhattan. She said she walked up to him and asked,
Why do you think you are more than anybody else? I mean, come on, you're just trying to scare people.
Then she accused the agent of terrorizing people.
You're terrorizing people yourselves, and I don't want to see that. So we don't need that here. We're doing just fine in New York.
Totally professional. So just to be clear, the governor of New York was bragging on national television about scolding a federal officer in a lobby, and she thought this made her look tough. Over time, Hochul turned Trump into the answer for everything: crime, taxes, congestion, immigration, the cost of living. Somehow, every problem in New York became a Trump problem. But here's the irony. Hochul says she won't bow to a king. Meanwhile, she uses her own power to block federal agents, protect congestion pricing, and tell Republicans to
jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town.
She acts like Trump is the central threat to freedom. But in New York, she is the one telling people what they can pay, where they can drive, and who is allowed to enforce the law. Gretchen Whitmer was supposed to be this tough governor from Michigan. During COVID, she became a national Democrat star by fighting Trump on television. She sparred with him over ventilators, lockdowns, and federal help. And when Trump called her
a woman governor from, you know who I'm talking about, from Michigan,
Whitmer turned it into a brand. She tweeted, "Hi, my name is Gretchen Whitmer, and that governor is me." But a few months later, she dropped the nice act.
I think the biggest enemy of the state right now is the misinformation that's coming out of the head of state. I think the biggest threat to the American people is the American president right now.
And that was just the start. After federal agents foiled an alleged plot to kidnap her, Whitmer blamed it squarely on Trump.
Just last week, the President of the United States stood before the American people and refused to condemn white supremacists and hate groups like these two Michigan militia groups. Stand back and stand by, he told them. Hate groups heard the president's words not as a rebuke, but as a rallying cry, as a call to action.
Then she went on Meet the Press and accused Trump of inspiring domestic terrorism.
It's incredibly disturbing that the President of the United States, 10 days after a plot to kidnap, put me on trial, and execute me, 10 days after that was uncovered, the president is at it again and inspiring and incentivizing and inciting this kind of domestic terrorism.
And just like that, Whitmer became the hero to the anti-Trump resistance. Then came the 86-45 controversy. During an interview, Whitmer curiously had the numbers 86-45 in the background. And this is while Trump was the 45th president. People accuse Whitmer of calling for violence against Donald Trump, and I think they might have had a point. Quick side note, this thing seems very familiar to exactly what corrupt cop James Comey did, except he wrote 86-47. Interesting. Anyways, expect a video on that when his case concludes. But basically, this whole thing made her one of the biggest anti-Trump governors at the time. Years later, something curious would happen. In April 2025, cameras caught Whitmer inside the Oval Office. Trump was signing executive orders, and there was Gretchen Whitmer standing in the Oval Office holding blue folders in front of her face. The photo went viral instantly. The same governor who once called Trump
the biggest threat to the American people
was now hiding behind folders in his Oval Office. Why, you may ask? Because Michigan needed help. Suddenly, all the resistance theater got quiet, because as it turns out, ranting about Trump on television does not fix roads, restore power, or bring federal money back to your state. Since then, Whitmer has gone back to Washington several times. She even said, "I will collaborate with anyone to achieve results for Michigan," which sounds pretty responsible, but it also kind of proves the point. When the cameras are on, Trump is the biggest threat in America. But when Michigan needs something, suddenly she can collaborate. Andrew Cuomo was supposed to be New York's tough guy governor, the son of a political dynasty, the man who knew how power worked. But even before COVID, Cuomo had a bad case of Trump derangement syndrome. In 2018, he tried to riff on Trump's slogan and accidentally said one of the most tone-deaf lines of his career.
"We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great."
The room literally gasped. Even Democrats cringed, and Cuomo had to walk it back almost immediately. But Andrew was just getting started. When COVID hit, Andrew Cuomo became a national media hero. His daily briefings turned into must-see TV. The media called him America's governor, and every chance he got, Cuomo used that moment to lecture Trump. He mocked the White House, he scolded the president, then he delivered the same sentiment every anti-Trump governor seems addicted to.
We don't have a king in this country.
There it is again, the king routine. Hochul did it, Pritzker did it, and before both of them, Andrew Cuomo was already performing it on national television. The media loved it, Hollywood loved it, Democrats loved it, Cuomo even received a freaking Emmy for his COVID briefings. Yes, an Emmy. But behind the scenes, the performance was falling apart. It turns out Cuomo's administration hid nursing home death data, and according to reports, part of the reason was because aides feared Trump's Justice Department would use it against them. Then came the collapse. Multiple sexual harassment accusations forced Cuomo to resign. Suddenly, the media hero was gone. The Emmy-winning governor was finished. Or at least he should have been. Because years later, Cuomo tried to claw his way back. And what did he use? The same old villain, Donald Trump. In his 2025 New York City mayoral campaign, Cuomo released an ad showing Times Square in chaos. Then he warned that Trump was coming for New York.
LA's in chaos. Imagine it's Times Square. Trump's coming for New York. Who do you think can stop him? Zoran Mamdani's a 33-year-old dangerously inexperienced legislator who's passed just 3 bills with a staff you can fit inside a New York elevator. New York already has a crisis of affordability and safety. We need someone ready to roll. Andrew Cuomo's managed a state and managed crises, from COVID to Trump. Trump's at the city gates. We need someone experienced to slam them shut.
That was Cuomo's comeback pitch. Not I learned my lesson, not I failed New York, not I owe voters an apology. No, it was Trump is at the gates and only Andrew Cuomo can save you. New Yorkers weren't buying it. He lost the Democratic primary to a 34-year-old communist. And then he lost the general election too. In the end, Cuomo turned COVID into a television performance. He turned Trump into his villain. And when his career collapsed, he tried to use Trump one more time to crawl back into power. But this time, nobody bought the act. Chris Christie was known as the hard-headed governor of New Jersey, the guy who got haunted by Bridgegate, then later mocked for Beachgate. Back during the 2016 Republican primaries, Christie looked at Donald Trump and saw a joke. But very quickly, the joke was on Christie. In 2016, Christie officially dropped out of the Republican primary. He clearly saw the writing on the wall. Trump was the guy for that moment. And before you knew it, there was Christie standing behind Trump on Super Tuesday with the blank stare that became known as the hostage face. And for a while, Christie was inside the Trump world. He endorsed him, he advised him, he helped him prepare for debates, but after January 6, Christie completely flipped. He became one of Trump's loudest Republican critics. At his 2024 campaign launch, Christie called Trump a
lonely, self-consumed, self-serving mirror hog.
Come the debates, he mocked the other Republicans on stage for being afraid to say Trump's name. He said they treated Trump like Voldemort.
He who shall not be named.
And from that point on, Christie's entire campaign became one long anti-Trump therapy session. He called Trump a coward, a puppet of Vladimir Putin, a cheap grifter, but there was one problem. Republican voters did not care what he had to say. Christie dropped out before the Iowa caucuses, looked into the crowd, and made one final promise.
I want to promise you this. I am going to make sure that in no way do I enable Donald Trump to ever be president of the United States again. And that's more important than my own personal ambition.
Then he left the race. Trump won the nomination and went on to win the White House. Meanwhile, Chris Christie was left on the sidelines watching the voters he claimed to understand choose Trump anyway. Christie went from Trump's ally to Trump's critic to Trump's warning sign. But in the end, he became what every failed anti-Trump Republican becomes: a fake news guest with a grudge. I already made a full video on the complete story of Chris Christie and Donald Trump, so click on that video on the screen to watch that next. Or click that playlist to watch the other episodes of the Victims of Trump Derangement Syndrome. Thank you for watching.